We humans are a social species. That means that we have to work together to survive. And for us to work together, I have to align my own personal needs and my personal interests with your interests to get a kind of common interest. So we can both go out and do stuff. And I need you to have my back, and I'm going to have your back. So to become this social species and to work together, I think trust is the most important part. Otherwise there's no alignment and no performance at all. I think that's totally dependent on your point of view. I think in how people relate with each other, I see more and more trust. But people make trust smaller, so they trust their neighborhoods, their streets again. So they're maybe not trusting national government or European or systems, but in return they start to depend on each other, and you see more and more systems that people are going to cooperate on a more closer level. So I think we're rebuilding trust from the ground up. I think what you're talking about is trust in the system, and that's what we're seeing, that people are distrusting technology, distrusting authority. But hence we are deploying a network which is kind of decentralized and distributed as well. So I think we'll see more and more trust between people and on a peering level. I think on both levels, so it causes distrust, because that's what technology does. It anonymizes our relationship. I can't trust code. The code is nothing. I can't trust the person who made the code, and that person is living in a company. And that's of course a big question. Can we trust the companies, that they have the best intent with me, that they have good things in mind? So maybe even we'll get to a situation where designers or engineers have to make a declaration what their intent is, like maybe in medical science or something. So I think technology is really, for that sake, on the bad side of creating more distrust. But it can also connect us and create other ways of us working together, which could really help us gain trust, because I get to know you better, I get to know you more, work closely together. So it's not per se technology which is causing either trust or distrust, it's specifically how we deploy it in a kind of organization. I don't know if it's more or less, because you make trust into something like a global phenomenon. I think we will need to cooperate together. I don't believe in an isolated human being. So I believe that there will be plenty of trust between people. But we should maybe not make the mistake to change trust in the subject of truth. So trust we need to figure out ourselves what we think truth is. There are multiple truths around there. A lot of people have some kind of truth. So I do think that trust is like now. There will be trust, there will be distrust. I don't know if it's growing, so I think it's more about the trustworthiness you may be referring to. Are we trusting the system or companies? What is the trustworthiness of our system? And I think that dramatically needs to improve, because we can't work like this where you're not trusting those institutions which arrange trust for us on a global or local level. So I think as people we will have trust, like now, but we need to work on this trustworthiness and not mistake it for truth, but that's for me an entirely different subject. I think we have to, because we are entering from a centralized industrial world in this network society, and the network society is per definition distributed. It's more the question, how do we redesign trust and distrust in a way we can deal with it? But since trust is between you and me, I think it's per definition was always distributed. So again, this is about trust in the system. And that's something new which we have to arrange together. But I think the trust can be very well distributed. But what we now see a lot is that when people deploy technology, we're not talking about real trust, like I have a leap of faith and I trust you. We talk about institutionalized trust, which is a calculated risk and some guaranteed version of trust. Like, do you have your certificate, do you have your references, is there a rating? So then trust almost becomes like an economy. And I wouldn't like to go into a world where everything which is called trust is in a kind of calculated currency. I still think trust is a human capacity, which has always been distributed. We just need to find an interface for those two to work together.